So he says that's why number one, a person has to view the lighter transgressions as the severe ones. First reason is because Hashem commanded it. It doesn't matter how it's not severe it is or how severe it is. Look at who commanded you, and it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's a dishonor to not bring water to your father, just like it's a dishonor not to bring his car when he asks you to. It should be all viewed the same. Second thing is, if you do the sin multiple times, the lighter one, and it builds up cumulatively enough punishment to deserve a punishment like the severe ones. So if you're scared of the severe ones, you should be scared of the lighter ones, because eventually you end up doing them repeatedly, and when you double and double and double it, it eventually becomes like a thick rope and becomes severe. Okay. So says the third reason. Why should you view all the transgressions, even the lighter ones like the severe ones? The worst part is that when you do a small sin repeatedly, it becomes like permissible behavior to you. You start doing, you say, oh, nothing happened to me last time. I'll do it again. And look, I did it again. Nothing happened to me last time. I'll do it again. And it becomes to the point where it's like permissible. And you made it into a habit, to the point where I teach people some halachot today, and they say, Rabbi, that's halakha? But everybody does this. I say, yeah, so when we make halakha, we don't make a poll. Say, oh, how many people keep it, how many people don't keep it. No, it says clearly written in the sources, in Shulchan Aruch, you gotta do it. Oh, but I don't see it. Okay, so those people who don't do it, it's because probably they view this as a lighter sin, as a lighter halakha, and therefore they didn't keep it. And they didn't keep it for so long, it became like permitted to them. And they thought, oh, but nobody does it, you know. It got the, like, for example, when I was teaching a lot of young adults about Shomer, the laws of Shomer Negiah, you know, you can't touch the opposite gender before you get married, right? So they said, well, what do you mean? I see a lot of people don't keep that. You know, I thought it's always optional. I think it's optional to be Shomer, you know. So what do you mean? It's obligatory. No, why? I thought a lot of people don't. I see a lot of people don't keep it. So you see that when people do it repeatedly, they end up being that they think it's permitted. So that's why that's the third reason why you got to be careful with the lighter sins, just like with the severe sins. To the point where a person, God forbid, will be rebuked for this, that he doesn't keep the lighter sin, and he'll tell him, what do you mean? It's allowed. I see a lot of people doing it. And then you tell him and you show him the source, and he says, Chas v'shalom, no, I don't accept this one. When you get to that point, when you don't accept one mitzvah from the Torah, you don't want to be considered amongst those who cast from upon themselves the yoke of heaven, and will be considered apostate in a matter of a law. Meaning to say, if you mumar ledavar echad, mumar lechol Torah. If you disagree with one mitzvah in the Torah, you deny that one mitzvah, and you say, I don't want to keep that one. I'm not obligated to keep that one. That doesn't apply today, or it's not for us. You're denying part of the Torah, denying the whole Torah. So therefore, a person can say, I need to grow. I'm not on that level. You're right. I'm sinning, and I have to. I accept it's the truth. I got to work on myself. That's different. But if a guy says, nah, it's not for us. Nah, I don't accept that. That's a mitzvah. And then he's denying part of the Torah. That's a very severe thing. So see, from a lighter sin, you could end up considering denying the entire Torah. Okay, Revi, the fourth reason why you should treat the lighter sin like a severe sin. Because if Yitzhar beats you in a small thing, he will end up beating you. There's a chance, there's a danger, he'll tomorrow overcome you for a bigger thing. As the sages say in Masechet Shabbat, what does the Yitzhar tell you? Whoever breaks vessels due to his anger, in his session of anger, in his wrath, he breaks something. The Gemara says you should consider it like you did avodah zarah. Why? I didn't do avodah zarah. I got angry. I broke something. It's my prerogative if I break my own vase. So the Gemara says, no. What does that show? Because kach darko sheyitzara. This is the way of the yitzara. Hayom mer lokach. Today he tells you do this. Lamachar amen lo lech avod elokim acherim. Today he tells you this, then he tells you that, then he tells you this, then he tells you that. Eventually, it leads to avodah zarah. Why? Imagine a guy, he doesn't work on his anger, right? He doesn't work on his anger. He starts breaking things from his anger, and then he can't stand people. He gets angry at them. He doesn't work on his anger. He starts speaking Lashon Hara about them. He starts speaking Lashon Hara about people. He fights with them more, and he ends up being not able to be in the shul because of those people that he fights with. He doesn't go to shul. He doesn't pray. He doesn't end up learning. And then even that, when the rabbi tries to rebuke him and tell him, you got to come to shul. We want you to be with you. We want you to learn with you. We want to make peace with you. And he's all bitter, and he makes more machaloket, and he doesn't stand. And then eventually he comes so distant from Hashem. A guy comes to him and comes with a different ideology, and it comes to him, come do this with us, and his guilty conscience says to him, I can't do that, and I can't do those sins and live that kind of life. I'm a Jew, I'm religious, you know what? I denounce my religion. I'd rather denounce my religion. I'm atheist, I don't believe anymore. I'm this other religion that allows me to do those sins and live that kind of lifestyle. And eventually from just getting angry, eventually, over time, eventually led him to the Yetzer Hara showing him why it's okay to do Avodah Zarah in order to fulfill your desires. Because a Jew, he knows there's God, so what does he do? He doesn't want to deny there's God. He wants to serve him a different way. See, I have a different religion, and this allows me to fulfill my desires. So therefore, a person has to be careful, even with a lighter Averah, because it could easily lead him to do a bigger Averah. Okay. We know Rabbi Yonah quotes pasuk by Cain and Hevel, right? Cain got upset that Hevel's offering got accepted, and therefore he killed Cain. And as a result of him accepting the offering before he killed him, Cain became very upset and fell on his face. Right? The pasuk says, "V'nei Amar halo em tetev se'et." Hashem told him, "Why are you upset? Why are you face on the floor? If you improve se'et." If you do not improve, sin hovers at the door. Its desires towards you, we can conquer it. What does this mean? What does the pasuk mean? It means, what do you mean sin hovers at the door? Lama lafnu peinecha. Why did your face fall? If you improve your deeds, you do teshuvah, then your face will be uplifted again. You think now you failed, your offering didn't get accepted? Don't worry, it's okay. You could do better, and you get uplifted, right? ויש לפרשו, מלשון כי אז תישא פניך מימום, ויש לפרשו לשון סליחה. Means that se'ed means תישא. Hashem will uplift you, meaning Hashem will forgive you. But אם לא תיטיב, לפתח חטאת רובץ. But if you do not improve, sin hovers at your door. What does it mean sin hovers at your door? If you do not, אם לא תשוב מאשר חטאת, לא העוון אשר בידיך לבדו ילין איתך. Not just that your sin that you committed will rest with you, the Yetzer Hara is hovering at the door. Wherever you go, the Yetzer Hara wants to make you sin. So it comes out, he says, if you don't do teshuvah now, the Yetzer Hara is waiting by the door. And wherever you go and leave this room from me, wherever you go, he's going to follow you, and he's going to make you fall in more things. And you're going to end up serving him. You're going to be desiring him. As it says, the Gemara says, they call the Yetzer Hara a melech zaken v'kasil. Right? The Yetzer Hara is considered an old foolish king. Why is he old foolish king? Because he wants to make you a king over you, right? He wants you to follow him and not follow Kadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore he says, if you do teshuvah, good. If you don't do teshuvah, you should know you're starting to listen to him. He's going to start telling you things more to do. Eventually he becomes your God. He becomes the person you listen to. Hashem says, and now you can conquer it if you want, but you'll be punished now if every sin you commit, because now the Yetzer Hara will trap you, since I gave you the ability to conquer Yetzer Hara. So he says, listen, don't think like, somebody could say, woe is me, I have a very big Yetzer Hara, there's no point, I can't do anything about it, I am a sinner, I am an angry type, I am a ganav type, I can't work on myself. No, says the Kadosh Baruch Hu to Cain, you should know, if your desire is to do teshuvah, you can conquer the Yetzer Hara. If your desire is not to, so then that's when you're going to be in the clutches of the Yetzer Hara. So it all depends on this excuse that you make. It's not an excuse, it's just you don't want. If you really would want, you would be able to overcome. And therefore, when you don't want, now you're going to go even further. You're going to go down even more. So therefore, he says that Shlomo HaMelech, he says, Baz ledavar yihaveh lo v'yireh mitzvah u'yishulam. One who scorns a word will suffer injury, One who fears the mitzvah will be rewarded. Who is the person who scorns the word? Is a person who scorns the minor transgressions. He says, oh, this mitzvah, that mitzvah, it's not such a big mitzvah. I don't want to keep it. I don't have to keep it. You should know it causes you injury. What does it mean, injury? Like we said before, because now the Yetzer Hara will have more of a clutches on you. As opposed to Yirer mitzvah, someone who is scared to do a mitzvah, meaning scared that he'll neglect a mitzvah. Over there, hu yeshulam, he will receive a reward in the world to come. And that's what the sages say, have zeir b'mitzvah kala, mitzvah hamura. You have to be careful with a light mitzvah, just like with a major mitzvah. And also they say, mitzvah goreret mitzvah, avera goreret avera. One mitzvah leads to another, but another sin leads to another sin. Baruch Adonai, amen.